creep feeding affects genetic evaluations for beef cattle farmers. What you need to know about breeding efficiency. Why is there variation in weaning weights among calves? A quick reminder. Calves differ in weaning weights due to two main reasons. Namely, because they differ in their potential to grow and what environment is offered for them to utilize this potential. To be able to assess each calf's genetic potential, all of them should be judged equally, or at least given the same opportunity. The very first step is to judge them within a contemporary group. That is a group where the average performance or weight, in this case, is determined by exactly the same environmental conditions. Simply the same farm, season, camp and treatment, including feeding regime. It is furthermore well known that males generally grow faster and that the dam of the calf has a major influence on a calf's pre-weaning growth rate due to her own ability and also the environmental effects enabling her to fulfill this potential, including the stage in her own maturity, including her parity. It is therefore clear that after adjusting for the effects on the weaning weight of each calf to account for the age and parity of the dam and age and sex of the calf, the major influence on the variation in weights amongst calves in the same contemporary group is the result of their dam's influences. This will be mainly due to the milk production of the cow and the quality of the milk, as well as the way in which these cows look after their calves. Any attempt to make life easier for these calves, such as high quality feed, will mask the differences amongst mothers to care and nourish their calves. What is creep feeding? Creep feeding is the practice where suckling calves are given access to a special feeder with high quality feed that their mothers cannot reach. The objectives are to grow calves faster and prepare them for post-weaning feed. This might especially be in situations where forage quality is poor or where cows cannot produce enough milk. While this might in certain cases boost short-term profits, it also adds costs and, importantly, an environmental factor to how we measure and predict the genetic merit for especially maternal traits. Reasons given for creep feeding. The beef farmer may already know that creep feeding provides extra nutrition to calves before they are weaned. This is usually in the form of high quality protein, added energy, and mineral supplementation. The reasons to employ this practice are usually listed as improving the pre-weaning growth rates and therefore higher weaning weights, healthier calves, and making the calves more market ready. What is often not known is that it influences how the genetic merit of your cattle is predicted. Why genetic merit predictions matter. Genetic evaluations help beef farmers choose animals to be the parents for the next generation. By proper recording and analyzing data like fertility, maternal ability, growth rates, feed efficiency, meat and carcass quality, animal geneticists determine the expected differences in the ranking of the progeny amongst breeding animals for these desirable traits. These predictions are essential for improving herd performance and sustainable profitability. How creep feeding affects genetic evaluations. When calves are creep fed, performance improves, but this added boost comes from the environment, that is the feed, rather than genetics, especially the genetics of the dams that nurture and feed their calves with milk. This practice can therefore make it harder to distinguish whether a calf's growth, feed efficiency or other traits are due to its own, but importantly its dam's genetic makeup, rather than the benefits of creep feeding. Therefore, creep-fed calves are usually heavier at weaning than those that aren't. While this is great for marketing purposes, it can mask the calf's true genetic potential and especially its dam's maternal ability when evaluating its own and its dam's breeding value. The trust in breeding values when selecting animals should be based on genetics, not just how much extra feed they received and consumed. Creep feeding in essence therefore impacts how we evaluate cows. If calves rely less on their mother's milk, it may falsely look as if the cow is performing in milk production or nurturing ability for those lacking these abilities. Bad cows therefore look better and good ones worse. Adjustments therefore need to be made to account for these factors, if at all possible. Irrespective of these adjustments, the accuracy of prediction for wean maternal breeding values suffer and will be lower. Challenges and suggestions for beef farmers using the practice of creep feeding. If a beef farmer still wants the genetic predictions to be reliable, even if it is accepted that there might be benefits from creep feeding, some guidelines must be considered. There are therefore a few strategies to at least mitigate the challenges or negative effects on genetic prediction accuracy while feeding suckling calves extra. These are, in the first place, record accurately. This is essential. SA Statboek's logic system provides for the recording of creep feeding. Make sure to use it correctly, especially separating groups according to differences in feed practices. Secondly, standardized feed practices. Use consistent creep feeding protocols across your herd. Never favor some animals more than others without them being recorded as such. Creep feeding reduces variability due to non-genetic factors that makes genetic evaluations more accurate. Thirdly, record additional data. Track the average feed consumption per calf. This might come in very handy and even assist your animal nutritionist as well as geneticists to adapt mathematical models to better separate the environmental influences from genetic merit. Fourthly, use genomic selection as a precision tool. This will use genetic relationships to link your animals more precisely with the rest of the breed and enhance the breeding value prediction accuracy for traits negatively influenced by the practice of creep feeding. In the fifth place, make sure you understand what the effects are on maternal traits. Creep feeding lowers the accuracy of breeding value prediction for wean maternal. A good and morally sound way is to inform your fellow breeders and especially potential buyers of your animals. In the sixth place, take note of the negative effects when overfeeding young animals. Overcondition have numerous negative effects on the development of young calves, especially for female replacements. Overfed heifers will show lower reproductive efficiency in terms of infertility and calving difficulty. A condition called fatty udder syndrome can also cause a lifelong effect on their ability to produce enough milk for their calves. In the seventh place, work with animal scientists, especially experts using breeding values and lately genomic data to ensure that you use information correctly. And in the eighth place, consider controlled trials. Conduct small-scale tests on your farm with the assistance of your animal nutritionist to measure the impact of creed feeding on your herd's productivity. Summary and conclusion. Creed feeding might be a powerful tool for managing calves and securing short-term profits. Its influence on genetic evaluations is, however, something to take note of and manage very carefully. By ensuring that breeding decisions are based on true genetic merit, a stronger, more productive herd can be built for the future. Understanding and mitigating the effects of creep feeding on the accuracy of breeding values will assist in striking a balance between possible immediate benefits and long-term success in cattle operations. Stud farmers must make sure that they make the right decisions. Their management practices should be in line with their bull buyers. This will make the difference of whether these commercial producers will return to the next sale or move on to the next seller of genetics. The pinnacle of herd productivity is the cow herd. There should be no compromises for selecting cows based on their reproductive rate and their ability to look after their calves, especially in the phase when these calves are still considered as monogastric animals. This is for the first 80 to 120 days of their lives.